that we can make this more interactive. Sir, we can commence the session now, sir.
Okay. So, am I audible to all of you? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
sir. Audible,
Great.
sir.
Great. So, myself, Dr. Debdulal Thakur, and before we start this, interactive discussion session, let me quickly and briefly introduce myself to all of you so that you are acquainted with your faculty at the Vina Commission Law School, and also it will be easier for you to place the questions that you may feel like to ask uh, based on my credentials that I've earned so far. So, and here I go. I am sharing my screen. Hope that is visible to all of you, right? So basically, I am a socioeconomist, and I have been in this academic career for the last 20 years. I was a economist with the National Institute of Public Finance and Policy under the Ministry of Finance, Government of India for many years, and contributed much into the policy making of the central government and many state governments. I also had my opportunity to work with the Center for Budget and Governance Accountability. I was a faculty for around 6 to 7 years with the BITS Pilani. I was associate director and associate professor and deputy director with the Symbiosis School of Economics, Symbiosis International University, Pune. I worked with the PricewaterhouseCoopers for a couple of years at a senior position, worked with the ADB, World Bank, UNDP, UNICEF, DFID, and many other multilateral organizations as consultants or in alike capacities, drafting project-based reports and so. Before joining the Vina Commission Law School, I was with with the CREA University as a senior research fellow and also a visiting professor of public finance at the School of Interwoven Arts and Sciences. And I did my doctoral studies from the Jawaharlal University, my MPhil and PhD, and long back. So, and now if you have a couple of publications in the newspapers, journals, and many other places, you can always go through my LinkedIn profile, or you can type my name in the Google browser. It will give you more insights about my career, my interest area, and thus you can fit yourself exactly in the particular sector where I can be of immense help to each one of you, if not everyone. So, with this brief introduction, let me talk about economics a little bit. But before I start sharing my views on economics, let me understand from some of you. Let me understand from some of you as what you really understand. Why really you think that economics should be a part, economics and public policy should be a part of a law course and should be taught to the law graduates, or is it really at all essential for the law graduates to study economics and public policy? So let me randomly ask some of you your views, and let me start with Dharani. Dharani, if you can throw some light on this, what's your view on this particular subject, economics for the law graduates? Yes, Dharani? Am I audible to you? Okay.
Students,
Anybody wants
please
to
try to participate in the interactive session.
Okay, Shivaranjani Kumar. Shivaranjani Kumar, do you have any views on this? Lawyers should be vibrant. Lawyers should be argumentative, should be logical, and should be vocal. Otherwise, these theories won't help you to become a successful lawyer, isn't it? So please be vocal. Please respond. No matter, even if you are wrong, doesn't matter. We all learn from our mistakes. And this is a new interactive session. So it's a cross-learning exercise. Pooja, can you help us out with some of your views on this? Graham Staines, can you help us with any of your views on this?
Hi, sir.
Yes, Pooja. I'm glad that you responded. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. I'm Vijay Lakshmi.
Okay.
I do get to know that economics is considered to be in law. This
Okay.
mandatory for the finance-related queries, financial-related queries.
Excellent. Excellent. Excellent, Vijay Lakshmi. Thank you. Thank you for.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Graham Staines, any response from your end?
Good morning, sir.
Satish?
Actually, some
Yes,
money
Satish?
related, yeah, yes, sir. Money related issues and all, so we can, as an advocate, we can handle it.
Okay. Great. Great. Satish, Sundarappa, Shankari Suresh, Envabil, Navneet, Afruddin, Kadir, any response from your end?
Sir, this advocate can contribute in terms of economic offenses which is happening.
Okay, great, 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 excellent. Okay, now before I I move to the discussion part, do you have any idea, any of you, as what is the proportion, or what is the trend for law students to study, enroll in schools, or enroll in universities where economics is taught as a part of the law studies? Any idea? Okay, so I will share with you my screen, and this screen is from the American Law Association, and I will share with you the screen and also the documents from the American Law Association, wherein I can show you exactly what is the current status of sorry, just give me a second. So this is the screen. Is the screen visible to all of you? Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah. So as you can see here in this particular screen, see, it is 2015-16 law part applicants. Economics major had a mean LST score of 158, which is was the highest score of the 16 largest disciplines. That means with more than 950 law school applicants. And economics placed second behind maths and physics out of 29 disciplines, grouping created to contain at least 325 students with similar majors. So, and over the years, so see, it's not only economics, but students are studying physics, students are studying mathematics as law graduates. And this is from the American Economic Association, something that you can rely on, something that you can trust. If you see Google, if you just do a small Google, you will see that these days, as some of you have rightly responded, the demand for economics is rising like anything. In fact, economics with a certain dose of data, economics with certain dose of public policy is the core area where no matter from which stream you come from, be it engineering, be it from the BBA stream that's doing MBA, etc. People are finding it the most increasing, most attractive sector to enroll. Now, this is because these days, as some of you have rightly pointed out, that the economic offenses or the need for people who are knowledgeable in the domain of economics are rising. Now, the larger question is, what is economics all about, right? Because before you study economics, you should know why exactly economics, what economics really means. Now, see, now let me put it this way. What have you done, when you have enrolled for this particular session? You had, you at this point in time, that means 11 o'clock, Thursday, 10th of August, you had many other activities to do, isn't it? Yes or no? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Sir.
Right? Right. So, but you choose to attend this class. So therefore, what you did, you actually made a decision, right? So when you have taken this decision, what you have actually done? When you have taken this decision to attend this class, you have also taken the decision not to do those other things that were also pipelined for at this point in time, isn't it? So when you take one decision, you actually also take decision not to do certain other things. So basically, economics is all about making decisions, right? And as lawyers, as prudent lawyers, as successful lawyers, this is the decision that will help you to succeed, to flourish in your career in the days ahead. Now, as I said, every day we make numerous decisions, isn't it? For example, how much LPG gas should I buy for my family for the month, which is the most direct route to my university or to my workplace? Where should we eat? What should we eat? Or, for example, which job or profession should I pursue? Which law school should I get enrolled? What are the electives that I should take? What are the, can I really adopt a dog? Should I get married? Should I have children? Etc., etc. And many people associate the word economics with money, isn't it? Some of you have really immediately said that it's all something related to money and corruption, right? It's just a part. It's not the whole, right? As I said, economics is all about making the decision. And if you study economics, you will end up making rational decisions, right? When you argue in the court, right? When you argue in the court, your logic should be robust. Your logic should be logical, right? So economics helps you to make those logical decisions, to arrive at decisions that are logically correct or that are logically logical. Are you following me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Right. So therefore, as I said, that often we many of us who have not studied economics before, we associate economics with money, right? But economics, therefore, is much more than money. It involves weighting various options or alternatives. Some of these critical decisions involve money, but the majority do not. So money is just a part of economics, right? This is somewhat small, a subset of economics. The majority of your everyday or monthly or life decisions have nothing to do with money, isn't it? When you wake up in the morning, when you do your brush, eat food, or you make a friend, right? Let's say you choose a best friend within the class, within your community, within your area. Is that anything to do with money? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So when you make friends, when you greet someone, say good morning, hello, you make friends, or you mix with people, you get good feelings about watching the rising sun. Does that have anything to do with money?
No, sir.
No, right?
No, sir, no.
Exactly, exactly. But economics has a lot of things to do with these behaviors, because economics is what I said, is about making decisions. So the majority of your everyday, monthly, or life decisions have nothing to do with money, as I have just given some examples. But they're still considered economic decisions, right? So economics is a vital subject in every field wherever you need to take decisions, right? Now you tell me, uh, uh, how many times do you take decision? I would like answer from each one of you, if not some of you, if not everyone. How many times do you take decisions? Yes. Yes, Ravi Kumar, Srinath, Srinadurai, Davanidhi,
So what's your question, sir?
Suresh. How many times do you take decisions in a day, in a month, in a year? Yes.
The decisions related to economics.
Any decision, forget economics, any decision. How many times do you take decision?
Any 10 times per day, at least minimum.
Exactly. Exactly. Every moment you take decision, isn't it? To do certain thing and not to
Yes,
do
sir.
certain things, right? So therefore, when I say economics is about making decisions, so that essentially means that economics is with you, and you actually practice economics every moment of your life, right? Now, we will, when we come to the class, when I will interact with you in the classroom, I'll let you know the tools and techniques through which we take these decisions. Even if in subconscious mind, doesn't matter, but still, if you take decision, economics is there. So therefore, economics is a vital subject in every field, in every moment of life, whether it is law, business management, political science, or anything else. So the subject economics teaches us about the economic value of everything, right? Even when you actually, let's say, you go to the sea beach, and you see a sunrise. Even that has an economic value. Trust me. When there is you buy a apartment, a garden-facing apartment, even that has an economic value. When you actually roam around, do a morning walk, even that has an economic value. When there is a pollution that is generated through some production process anywhere, any kind of pollution, it has certain economic consequences. So economics is a subject based on human behavior, right? Because ultimately we are human beings who take decisions, isn't it? Plants don't take decisions, right? Stones don't take decisions. Water bodies don't take decisions. So economics is a subject based on human behavior, therefore, because we as human beings take the decisions. That plays a significant role in several aspects of law. Now, when I say several aspects of law, how are we governed by law? First of all, if you think very closely, we are governed. The entire system, the solar system, the entire universe is governed by something called a natural law, isn't it? Hello?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Sir,
So as human beings, we are governed by natural law. First of all, nature has its own laws and we cannot override them. If we do that, we have to face consequences. We face floods,
we face earthquakes, we face landslides, we face pandemics, and so on and so forth. Examples are ample. Right? So, first of all, we are completely governed. Our every moment is governed by the natural law. And given this natural law, the law of nature, we take decisions every moment for our survival, isn't it? Hello? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So therefore, when you take decisions, what is there? There is economics. So therefore, economics and law are very much complementary to each other. You cannot do law. You cannot survive in the domain of law without economics. And you cannot understand economics without understanding the law, the laws of nature, the laws of human behavior, right? So, therefore, as I said, economics is a subject based on human behavior that plays a significant role in several aspects of the law in my view. And now I hope you are convinced that it's also your view, the global view. Right? Every law student should be familiar with this subject. It will not only help you to understand your society if you work in a similar place, but it will also help you in a larger aspect. Much of the law is influenced by economics. Not only when you look at the readings of the Supreme Court or the newspaper, you will see that not only does the Supreme Court frequently rule in ways that lubricate the skids of commerce, but most disputes are pushed by economics in some way. Any dispute you think, at the moment it's about certain decisions. Most of the disputes that you see that are happening everywhere, at the end, in some way or the other, they are related to certain economic aspects. Sometimes equal and fair knowledge should be available for a lawyer to indicate the true cause of the fluctuating economy in relation to societal crimes. So let's say you take up your career as a criminal lawyer, right? So to defend your client, you need to understand the society or the circumstance under which the crime was committed. What has provoked the criminal to commit the crime? So therefore, when you talk about the society, you need to understand the relation of economics, the economic relation to societal crimes. So the importance of economics is demonstrated by the fact that every law has economic implications. Every law, no matter you are a civil lawyer, you are a criminal lawyer of any kind, of any sector, every law has economic implications. Tax system, international commerce, corporate law, copyright law, banking, insurance, investments and securities, employment laws, mercantile laws, and many other areas all contain significant amount of economics. So therefore, to understand these laws, it is necessary to have a working knowledge of economics, right? Now, at VMLS, the course economics, the course economics in the VMLS structure as the guidelines of the Bar Council of India, which is a standard protocol that all law schools have to follow within the Indian subcontinent. We take an interdisciplinary approach. We really do not talk about only hardcore economics. And here economics is taught from the perspective of public policy, from the perspective of the societal norms. It's an interdisciplinary approach so that you can relate the theories with the practical world and with your core subjects. So here we try to provide the students with the tools and methods to make effective economic choices under risk and uncertainty, right? And more the risk, more the uncertainty, more is the probability of certain wrong decisions that might appear, isn't it? When you, for example, let's say you really do not know about the future. Future is uncertain for everyone. So if the future is uncertain, more uncertain, people will be more reckless. People will be more impatient. And given this framework, the probability of taking certain wrong decisions will be paramount, isn't it? Hello? So therefore, right? Therefore, it is important that to take the right decision in this rising era of risk and uncertainty, one should take the right decisions given the law of the land. So major topics that include decision-making methods and standards, demand and cost theory and estimation, pricing theory and practice, pricing new products, and competitive bids and price quotes. So these are certain things that we'll discuss when we are in the class. How prices are made, how price quotes are made, how competitive bids are taken, how we launch new products, how price war happens, how corruption happens, what are the different laws to prevent corruption, what are the human behavior that provokes certain people to end up in doing committing certain corruption activities, what are property laws, what are property rights. So the goal of the course is to teach students how to list the various, listen to this very carefully. The goal here is to, at VMLS, at the Vinayaka Mission Law School, and hopefully you know that this is mentored by the OP Jindal Global Law School, one of the Ivy League law schools in the country. So here, the goal of the course is to teach students how to list the various requirements and objectives that a firm face, that an individual face, how to apply economic thinking to individual and business decisions, and how to use a little bit of calculus to find the best solution, a little bit of mathematics, which you all can perform. So when I say these, let us talk about certain significant portions wherein economics will be beneficial for the law students, and especially the students who have enrolled for the with the Vinayaka Mission Law School. What are the different aspects where we will strengthen, we will help you to gather more and more knowledge and in-depth understanding through moot courts. We have options for debates, discussions, and we are also throwing up a policy challenge in sometime in the month of November, where you all can debate, discuss with your counterparts in other law schools, and we'll have eminent experts coming here delivering their lectures, the top in the country. But before I proceed further, let me see if you have any questions as of now, so that I can respond to them and move to the next part of my lecture. And let me have a cup of coffee with your permission. Yes. If you have any questions, you have 2-3 minutes to raise any questions if you have, and then I'll move to the next section. Yes, Shankari Suresh R, Yuvraj, Ravi Kumar, Muthu Gandhi, Satish, Vijay Lakshmi, Pooja. Anyone has any question?
Sir, does this economic related to only for financial purpose or any other purpose, like the resources from the country?
Good question. Anyone else? Okay. So, very good question. Very good question. Now, see, economics is, as I said, it's not only about the financial aspects, it's about everything. So when you talk about the resources of the country, when you talk about the foreign trade, there are trade laws. when you talk about export, import, or the environmental resources, the natural resources, the physical resources that the country has, everywhere there is economics. So when you talk about economics, actually, I know we try to assist in legal arguments made during the prosecution and defense of the case. For example, economic analysis is a key component of the legal arguments. And when I say legal arguments, anything where there is a dispute has to be ruled out or has to be resolved using legal arguments, isn't it? So therefore, and both prosecuting and defending the lawsuit. So therefore, when economic experts are most often brought in to make or bolster the arguments, and the lawyers who are involved in those kind of cases need some understanding of economics to comprehend and effectively use the issues raised by the experts. So economics is not only about the financial part or the monetary part, but wherever there is a dispute, and to defend or to prosecute and arrive at a rational solution, rational decision making, you need economics. Even if it's an environmental law, let's say there is some trade permits that has been given to certain organization to produce certain good, provide certain services. And if there is a lawsuit, there is a court case, you need to understand about the natural resource, you need to understand the property of the natural resource. And in that, let's say fishing has a different kind of economics. When you talk about trees, it has a different kind of economics. When you talk about agricultural products, it has a different kind of economics. When you talk about hazardous products, it has a different kind of economics, right? So when you talk about resources, there are something called common property resources, there are something called public resources. So therefore, each and every portion, each and every aspect has a different kind of economics. And it's not essential that everyone would be master in all the sectors, but each one of you can choose to specialize in one or two of these sectors and flourish in your career. So when you talk about the economics, it also helps in it aids you in better interaction with the clients. For example, let's say understanding economics even on a basic level will undoubtedly aid a law student in clearly articulating his clients and opposing parties. So it will help him learn how to assist him or her, how to assist a client in developing a successful estate plan that meets their needs. It will assist him or her in understanding how to write strong and enforceable contracts. So even when you draft certain contracts, you need an understanding, a logical understanding of the economic aspects or the societal aspects, usage of the words, so that it should not mean something else compared to what you have thought. When you talk about economics, therefore, it allows for a better understanding of issues encountered in a variety of legal areas. For example, let me give you some example. Let's say we talk about criminal law, right? So how is economics related with the domain of criminal law? See, it is vital to consider that criminal law and economics cannot exist apart from one another. Criminal acts are inevitably a source of major societal cost. How a criminal activity adds to societal cost? Can anyone throw some light on this? How a criminal activity can add to societal cost? Yes. Yes. How a criminal activity can add to societal cost? Yes. I know you know the answer. Please speak out, my budding lawyers.
He's stealing somebody's money.
Yes.
Victim.
Okay. Anybody else?
Violation of contract.
Can you come again, please?
Violation of contract.
Okay.
Contract
Anybody else? Excellent. Anybody else?
By contract and agreement violation. Loss of payment of the contract.
Okay, fine. Now let me also, thanks. All of you were right, but let me also explain a little bit more. Let's say in an area there are a lot of criminal activities, right? So just tell me, and there is one area where there is completely peace and rule of the rule of the law. Which area would you prefer to stay? Where would the business flourish? Of course, in the area where there is less of criminal activities, less of where there is more rule of law and all these things. So therefore, if there is a more of criminal activities in a particular area, the property demand will fall, the property prices will fall, the investors will not go to those areas. So therefore, it has economic consequences. So therefore, when you talk about the criminal activity, it has major societal cause that cannot be neglected by any society. Poverty is a major topic in economics and also relates to criminal law as it strongly drives the crime. Now, when you say poverty, is it only about financial poverty? Hello? I said poverty is a major topic in economics and also relates to criminal law as it strongly drives the crime. So if you see certain areas, certain countries, certain societies with huge poverty, the crime rates are higher in those areas. But is poverty only related to money? Hello?
So,
Yes. Is poverty only related to money?
no, education
Okay.
is also a major part in it.
Okay. Anything else? Let's say a person who is very much well off, do not have any financial crunch, commits a crime. So how is poverty related to this? Hello? Yes. Okay. And one of you rightly pointed out that yes, education. See, it's not only about money, but there are different features of poverty. For example, poverty of ideas, right? You are not educated. You cannot imagine you have poverty of ideas, so you cannot really flourish. You cannot prosper further. There are poverty in terms of the cultural aspirations, poverty in terms of the natural resources. So there are different aspects of poverty. There is something called absolute poverty, something called relative poverty, right? So when you say, for example, when you cannot accept certain things, even you cannot really, accept certain societal norms, you rebel, and there are different aspects of poverty which provokes you to commit a certain kind of crime. So, and to understand poverty, you need to understand the society, you need to understand the economics. So, and wherever there is certain degree of poverty from any source
Sir,
and
but why?
in any form,
Excuse me, sir.
it,
Excuse me, sir.
yeah. Hello? Yes. You can write your question in the chat box if you are there's some microphone issue. So what I was telling that wherever there is a poverty is a major topic in economics and relates to criminal law as it strongly drives the crime. So knowing how to prosecute and defend criminal charges must take into account economic circumstances. Right? So under what circumstance, under what decision-making process the crime has been committed? What was the kind of poverty under which the crime was committed? Was it committed due to for self-defense? Was it rational? Was it worth to defend those kind of logic in the courtroom? You need to know economics. Then we talk about contract law, right? So the law of exchange, it's a market economy. So the law of exchange is essential in a market economy. That whenever we buy certain thing, we sell certain things. So buying and selling continues to be there from ages, right? So, and whenever there is a buying and selling, there is certain contract, be it in writing, be it informal, but there is certain contract, isn't it? When you go to a shop and let's say the shopkeeper says that, how many of you have gone to a restaurant recently? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes.
So you go and pay, let's say, rupees 250 for a plate of mini tiffin, isn't it? It's written there, mini tiffin 250 rupees. Right? So it means that you pay 250 rupees in order to get that particular quality and quantity of the mini tiffin that is there. But you haven't signed any contract. It's something informal, but informally formal, something like that. And the shopkeeper doesn't provide you with the whatever was proposed. It's a violation of contract. So whenever there is some buying and selling, there is some informal contract or formal contract that is involved in that transaction in the market economy. And contract law research has revealed that in general, allowing parties to write their own contracts and allowing courts to enforce the agreed upon terms, including the agreed upon price, is efficient. Right? So law students to study economics in order to understand these concepts. How a contract is written, what are the wordings, how to frame a sentence, what are the theories to draft a robust contract, and in case the contract is violated, how? Because of course, when you enter a courtroom as a lawyer, you are not the only person who will be defending the case. You will have the opponent also. And when we talk about the lawyers, it's not only being a lawyer by profession and entering to the court if you be a law graduate. There are ample professions where many companies, the government sector, the civil society, and everywhere, lawyers are being hired, right? And hired in ample amount. In a law firm, there are different aspects in which the lawyers deal with. There are different specializations that are needed in a law firm. Even in a multinational company, be it Google, be it Tata, be it any company for that matter, lawyers are an integral part of that entire system. And it's not about one type of lawyer who knows everything. It's not possible simply. There are a variety of lawyers with variety of specializations. Right? There are certain lawyers who just interpret. They just interpret the meaning of a particular word in different ways. There are certain lawyers who just write the contract. Then there are certain issues like property law. So when you, as economists, as lawyers, economics discusses the resource availability in our country, the question that Vijayalakshmi had asked me. Now, when you talk about the resource availability in our country, or for that matter, any country, the size and attributes of our country's population, their needs and preferences, and the regulatory framework for people to execute within a country's territorial boundaries are essential. We need to know all these things. And economics includes detailed information on all of the aforementioned categories, allowing lawmakers to enact property laws for the people of the country to be applied to them after determining these factors. So when you talk about property, there are certain things called property right. And property is not only about the buildings and the infrastructure. Property has a wider meaning in its own way. Do you have any idea how can we define property? By property, generally, what do we mean? Yes, some simple question to all of you. By property, what do we mean by the word property? Just property.
Land, house.
Movable, immovable property.
Okay, Satish.
Intangible property. Tangible
Okay.
and intangible.
Okay.
Current value,
Fantastic.
current value of the
Okay.
property.
Intellectual
Okay.
property.
Okay.
Intellectual
Okay.
property.
Nice. 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 Excellent. Now see, when you say property in economics, there is
Knowledge.
something called property rights. That means
Property rights.
the
You mean
property is just
intellectual?
not intellectual. For example, let me give you an example. Let's say there is a factory beside a housing complex, and the factory produces smoke. And the Housing Owners Association complains that the smoke is affecting their health in some way or the other, the pollution. But if the property right, that means if the farm has the right to pollute through license or through tradable permits, etc., then you cannot do much about that smoke that is being emitted if they do it within the given framework. But if they do not have that, then the other party can sue them. So property is not about housing, not about land, not about intellectual property, but property is all about property right, is all about doing something legally, right? So that means doing the way it should ideally, or having the right to do it the way it should be done. So we talk about property law and we define the meaning of property in several ways. For example, the property of water is to flow downward, isn't it? To take the shape of of the container where it is poured, right? The property of gravitation says everything we pull downwards. So their property has a different meaning, isn't it? Hello? So therefore, when I say property, it has a wide and variety of meaning. So given your context, let's say you are given a case, you are given a particular subject, given your context, how you define property actually strengthens your case. So how to define property ideally in that context, and why you are defining property in that particular way and not the other way by which you could have defined property, is essential to winning the case, isn't it? So therefore, you need to know, and when you need to know this, you need to know economics. No other subject, no other discipline will help you to understand the meaning of this word property the way economics will do. So therefore, when you talk about property law, you need to apply certain micro and macroeconomics in understanding of basic micro and basic macroeconomics. Without that, it will be difficult for you to define those aspects. So as a lawyer, you must be able to see the rationalization behind business decisions, behind any decisions for that matter, while also understanding the big picture and where the particular deal you are working on fits into the client. Because ultimately, it's a client-driven profession, isn't it? Any profession, for that matter, is a client-driven profession. You may be a very big singer, on your own merit, but there is no listener, no clients for you.
So the musical rights also is a property, right?
Yes, it's about property right. Absolutely, so therefore, when you talk about those rights, ultimately when you are in a profession, for that matter, any profession is a client-driven profession, isn't it? Unless you are a philosopher, self-taught philosopher, and you are not bothered about the world, you just keep on preaching, giving sermons, no matter someone. So that's a different kind of people we are not talking about, or at the moment, we are talking about rational people who interacts with the world and mostly is into a client-driven profession. So microeconomic principles are used by businesses to make decisions about productivity, supply, and pricing. The studying microeconomics teaches you the reasoning behind these decisions, individual decisions, how an individual firm, how an individual person will take decision. So when you hear about a macroeconomic event in the news, extensive experience in macroeconomics will help you to anticipate and understand how your clients' decisions, how out and understand your client's decision. That means when in an aggregate decisions are taken, not by an individual firm or not by an individual entity, but by a country, by a society as a whole, you need to know macroeconomics. For example, when you talk about the trade agreement or the import barriers, or when my colleague just said about music rights, often you hear that those tune was stolen by someone in some other part of the country, other part of the globe, and something like that. So you need to know all these things. There is something called cultural economics. So why certain things are performed in certain cultural context and not performed in certain other cultural context needs to be understood, right? Not everything is wrong. Whatever idea was, whatever is seen apparently as a wrongdoing may not be the case. So you need to know macroeconomics to understand the mindset, understand the behavior of the society on an aggregate. So you will also have the skills in communication to confidently speak with clients. Something that many of you are silent today. I understand, we are not still not introduced properly with each other, so there may be some hesitation to speak out. But I'm quite sure that each one of you can speak out boldly and confidently when we meet in person in the campus. And it's an essential skill. So when you speak confidently, you communicate confidently with your clients about world trends that are shaping the business in which they operate, the game is yours. So therefore, to conclude, economics essentially refers to human welfare and resource scarcity. And when I say resource scarcity, within this globe, within this earth, it's like a spaceship, isn't it? Everything there within the nothing comes in, nothing goes out. So the resource is given by nature. And when I talk about human wants are unlimited. Think yourself. If you're asked what are your wants, probably you will give me a list of 1001 today and say, sir, please wait, tomorrow morning I'll come with the next. So every moment human wants changes and human wants are unlimited. So you are actually struggling, fighting with infinite wants of human beings, infinite greed of human beings vis-a-vis the scarce resource that nature has provided to us. So therefore, you need to balance the right path in order to get the best to enhance human welfare given the scarce resources. So the aim of the law is to regulate an individual's social and economic actions. I say regulate. That means you need to be compassionate. You need to be rational. You cannot favor unnecessarily to one party. You need to regulate. That means you need to balance an individual's social and economic actions. So economics, whose most fundamental subject is not money or the economy, right? But the consequences of rational choice. The consequences of rational choice, the fundamental subject of economics. And this is a critical tool for determining the effects of legal rules. So the importance of economics, therefore, is demonstrated by the fact that every law has economic effects. Taxation, foreign trade, company law, IPR, intellectual property rights, somebody has mentioned, banking, insurance, finance and securities, labor law, mercantile law, and many, many other areas are heavily influenced by economics. So thus, in order to comprehend these laws, a working knowledge of economics is required. And even students who have not been presented to the subject prior to dealing with these laws must eventually read about the economic principles involved. Everything that related to businesses and trade necessitates an understanding of economics, and the law that governs these aspects is no exception. At VMLS, at the Vinaya Commission Law School, we actually try to focus on all these aspects in a comprehensive way, so that as a student, because you are the torch bearers of the institute, you are the brand ambassadors of the institutes to the broader world. So uh, we people like us have gathered here. We have our dean, Professor Anand Padmanabhan, who has come from Stanford University. People like us who coming from with experience from variety of sectors, and there are other colleagues, as you can see in the websites, and we are very choosy about our faculties and the course curriculum, that the courses that we are offering, so that we can differentiate ourselves with the other law firms in the country, and we train an army of lawyers with an interdisciplinary approach. Mind it, interdisciplinary approach, so that our lawyers, our students, can cater to the broader demand of the of growing needs in this globalized world, where you might have to, being a lawyer in India, you might have to defend a case in Bangladesh. You need to know the society, you need to know the economics. So, or in America for that matter. It's no longer that Indian lawyers will only settle down in India and do cases here. So therefore, in a globalized world, now we see it's a globalized world, globally localized world. Right? So therefore, consciously have taken this approach of interdisciplinarity in the entire curriculum, not only economics, but the other subjects that are being taught. We also putting much more effort in the communication part, because the high courts in India and anywhere for that matter, English is the language in which the court proceedings are followed within the courtroom. So, and to defend that, you need to effectively speak in that particular language. So we are emphasizing more on those aspects as well, with dedicated trainings to language labs and other things, so that our students are competitive and are no less than any other from any other students studying in any other Ivy League universities, law colleges in India. And that's the reason that we have tied up with the Debdulal Global Law School, one of the Ivy League law schools in the country. So we are trying to cater our best to the students, and we wish to take it forward in the days ahead with more competent faculties, handpicked curriculum, with handpicked electives, which are very much market oriented, which are very much in line with the market demand, with the rising demand, so that our students are not left behind, and they should prove themselves. They should be the best in the field once they graduate from the Vinaya Commission Law School, and be a proud torch bearer, be a proud brand ambassador of the Vinaya Commission Research Foundation. So that's all from my part. It was nice interacting with all of you. I wish to meet you all in the classrooms when the session starts. Wish you all the best and a successful career in the days ahead. Be good human being, be good lawyer, cater to the human society, help to increase human welfare, to make this world a better habitat. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So was this lecture, could you get something out of from this lecture? Just if you yeah,
Sir, we
was it
started
helpful for you?
understanding- We just started understanding insight about economics, how related to law. So we started.
Thank you. Thank you, Sundarappa. Anyone else?
Yes, sir, definitely, sir. So
I would
how
expect your honest
economics
feedback.
plays a vital role in law. More, but
Okay. So the session was helpful for all of you?
Definitely, sir.
Definitely, sir.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Great. I wish we interact in person and we do more in this particular sector, and make the VMLS a place for everyone, the best choice for everyone in the days ahead. Thank you. See you sometime in the classroom in the month of September. Bye.
Yeah,
Take care.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you, sir.